Hello, my name is Chuck Lytle and I'm with the Galveston Historical Foundation. We're actually the organization that maintains the house physically and financially. A little brief history. The house was built between the years of 1887 and 1892, and it was designed by Nicholas Clayton, who was the premier architect for Galveston at that time. He built this incredible house for the family of Colonel and Mrs. Walter Gresham for a little less than $250,000 at that time. In 1923, the Gresham family sold this house to the Diocese of Galveston as a home for the bishop, Bishop Christopher Byrne. And that is how it got its name, the Bishop's Palace. It sustained an incredible history throughout the 120 years it has been here. It did survive the 1900 hurricane. Minimum damage. There was about 7 feet of water in the basement. There were several broken glass windows and tiles off the roof. 4 years ago during Ike, same three things, except there was only 3.5 feet of water in the basement. There were windows broken and, of course, tiles off the roof again. The house is listed in the Library of Congress as one of the more important Victorian-era homes in the United States because of the very unusual architecture, all of the solid hand-carved wood, and all of the original stained glass windows. If you come and visit us, you'll notice that there's a lot more to the story, and I hope you will come to Galveston and, of course, visit this incredible, beautiful, historic house. Thank you very much.
We have these tour books that we did for the centennial last year, and so they're available to guests or the public, so people can go by the concierge and pick up a copy, and it talks a little bit about the history as well as the architecture. Gary Cartwright, who was formerly with Texas Monthly, wrote a book about Galveston that came out in 1995. You know, during the heyday of the gambling, at one point one of the Macias lived here. They were actually the brothers, and there's more about them in the Hall of History. They were barbers in the barber shop, and they owned the Balinese at one point, which is across the street, which is a real famous gambling facility, which if you've ever read about Galveston, that's where they had it went over the water. And so when the police would raid it, they would flip all of the evidence into the water. And so, and they would, I think that's one of the bars they used to, or one of the casinos they used to play the Yellow Rose of Texas or something, and that's when they knew to flip everything, or they knew the cops were coming to raid it. And what we're known for is, of course, we have the story related to the Ghost Bride, and she's been felt or seen in room 501. One of the things that we do every October in Galveston, is getting bigger and bigger for it, is we, a few years back, we started doing public tours for ghost tours. And so in October, we do a public ghost tour and dinner. It's last year it was just on Thursday nights, but they sold out so quickly that we added a second night. So we have ghost tours on Wednesdays and Thursdays in October.
My name is Milton Durango with Univision. I'm a photographer for the news, and what I like about Galveston is the people. The people make you feel very welcome and make you want to come back.
I'm Margaret Downing. I'm the editor of the Houston Press, and so far today the thing I liked the best was kayaking. We had a lot of fun doing it. That's what I like about Galveston.
My name is Sarah Stevens. I'm with Houston Family Magazine, and I love Galveston. I actually write about Galveston every issue of the magazine. It's a monthly magazine. I love the history, mostly, of Galveston. I love the old houses in the East End, Silk Stocking District, beautiful mansions. There's so much to do here, and I love the sense of unity of the people who live here. We just saw the Pleasure Pier, which was magnificent. We brought the kids and they loved it, and my oldest kid, my husband, really loved it.
The first event that we had in January was the opening of the Hall of History. So this is always open to the public, it's always available, you don't have to be a guest in the hotel, and right now we're hosting an exhibit as well from the Rosenberg Library about tourism, so we'll change these out. This has been such a popular exhibit though, we've kept it for a while, but you can browse around. We have artifacts that are in display cases too, and we're still seeking donations for that. So because there's been so many owners through the years, we didn't have a lot of things that were original because, they would just throw stuff out. So some of the things that you'll see in their work we had or different, the county museum had a Rosenberg library, or some people had it in their attic or whatever, or their grandmother or so forth, and they donated them to us. Before the Galvez was built, there was a hotel called the Beach Hotel, and it burned down. So I think that's why they put the fireproof hotel on that. So but you should get through. And then this photo was donated by, I think it was his great-great-grandson. So this is kind of the construction of the hotel. President Roosevelt stayed here. Well, he didn't stay here, his staff stayed here, but they did this great fancy postcard for us.
So, Mr. Mitchell.
John Lafitte spent about 5 years here on the island. He had a compound just a short distance from here off of what is now Harborside Drive, but it was waterfront at the time that he was here. This building, in fact, was a temporary morgue after the 1900 storm. We have a picture I'll show you over on the counter over there of bodies laid out in this building. It housed about 3,000 bodies after the storm. There were 2 other sites downtown, buildings that had their second floors used as temporary morgues because the water was covering pretty much 95% of the island during that time period. Different pirates have different flags. This happens to be the flag of a pirate called Rickham, and his was crossed swords.
Anyone have an idea the real reason why a pirate wore an eye patch? Why?
Because his eye is broken and it's very scary.
Actually, they would wear an eye patch on their good eye and leave their bad eye uncovered, especially if they were a cannon or a gun in the ear. They would stay aboard the ship, have their good eye covered with the eye patch, and when they would go below the dark decks, they would switch the patch over quickly, so they always had one eye used to the light and one eye used to the dark.
Those bodies were taken to the mainland. Dr. Mayfield didn't want his beloved Sarah or his mother and father to be burned, nor did he want them buried at sea. It's said that he secreted them away in this building. So right now I'm going to welcome you to the home of Dr. Mayfield.
The Grand 1894 Opera House on Galveston Island is the official opera house of the state of Texas. It opened on January 3rd, 1895, and has been in continuous operation ever since, except for a very few short months when it was being readied for the current restoration. The Grand does what it did over 100 years ago. It presents international artists, nationally recognized artists, and local artists. When the Grand was built, it was the largest stage in the state of Texas and one of the largest in the Southwest. By today's standards, it's a much more intimate theater. It seats just over 1,000, and it still plays to everybody from international artists to the local dance school. We are glad that the Grand was saved from the 1900 storm and restored and was back online within a year. Recently, after Hurricane Ike hit us, we were back online in 92 days, a phenomenon that people around here still can't believe. The Grand is the place to be in Galveston. It's a dynamic force for economic development in the city, as well as the place to go for entertainment.
You are now visiting the Galveston Art League that was formed many years ago, and what you are looking at now are a variety of artists who display their art here. 3 times a year we have juried art shows. Every month the art changes.
The venue for the Art League was founded and things were shown at the library, the Rosenberg Library, which is our historical library here on the island. And it was done there for years and years by the local artists until we outgrew it. And then it was moved here. Once a month they have a program, which is wonderful because it's always educational. And we all look forward to it each month.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Lanier. We're in Design Works Gallery, which is owned by my husband and me. We began the gallery here in Galveston in 2005. We were closed for 8 months thanks to Ike. We had 7 feet of water in the structure you're looking at. We are a commercial gallery. We show the work of mature artists, mostly from the greater Houston area, but sometimes from as far away as Europe and other parts of the United States. My husband was a museum director on the East Coast for practically his entire career. So in a commercial gallery, you bring a certain artistic point of view which curates, in a way, the work that's being shown to the public, thus assuring that the people who are seeing the work here understand that it is of value, and that judgment is based on the experience of the people who own the gallery. Artist co-ops and artist studios, there's less of a separation, so it's harder for there to be independent judgment involved. The artist that we're showing presently is a professor of art at the College of the Mainland, and his work is, he's a ceramicist, he is known nationally, and his work is about ideas as much as it is about ceramics. So in this particular show, he's playing with words and what they mean.
Hi, I'm Renee Wiley. This is the Renee Wiley Studio and Gallery here in the historic district of Galveston. This building is from 1858, and it's currently an art studio that we have started since the Hurricane Ike put so much water in here that a lot of the rents changed and the landlords changed. The wood that we have here is by Jimmy Phillips, his sculptures. He is using wood that was actually from trees that came down during the hurricane, so we have tons of wood, literally, that artists can transform. Been painting mostly Galveston scenes, things that inspire me, that feel like this quirky, colorful town, which I enjoy living here very much. And every day is a new day of inspiration. And this month I was very interested in palms. It's the first time I painted them. We have an art walk here every 6 weeks, so there's new works to see. And if you come on a Saturday evening, we have galleries that are open late and lots of people out and music.
Hey, my name is Marcus Powers. I'm the producer of the 5 and 10 o'clock show for KFD News in Channel 6 in Beaumont, Texas. And I would say my favorite thing so far in Galveston probably was the kayak tours. It was something that I haven't had a chance to do before. I've been kayaking before, but never like a guided tour. I guess that's it. In Galveston, Marcus Powers, KFD News.